Here we go. Good morning. Welcome to the January 22nd, 2021 edition of Bob's Coffee Chat. This is a weekly Friday morning Zoom meeting focused on surviving and thriving in the era of Corona. I'm your host, Bob Bednarz, and today's presentation is how to activate your stem cells for healing and vitality. Beth Greer is AKA Supernatural Mom. She's the best-selling author of Supernatural Home, a toxin-free living expert, stem cell activation advocate, and she's a documentary film producer. Beth has eliminated a sizable tumor in her chest without drugs or surgery by detoxing her body at home. Her work has been endorsed by Deepak Chopra and Dr. Mercola. She's been named a top 50 health and environmental journalist to follow former president of the Learning Annex, and currently founder and CEO of the True Vitality Project, offering strategies, insights, techniques, and proven methods to radically transform your health and vitality. Oh, that was a mouthful, Beth. You're very expert on the subject. So we're here to learn 100% natural way to tap into your body's natural healing at the cellular level. So Beth, how do we do that?
Great, thanks very much, Bob. It's great to be here. It's great to see everybody. Hi. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background about how I got into this work and healing work in particular. I was running a large multinational company back in the 90s called the Learning Annex. And I didn't realize how stressed I was. It was in 6 cities across the US and Canada. And I thought I was happy and healthy and all this. And then, are you letting people in? Okay. So anyway, I had this pain in my shoulder and I went to the chiropractor, and after 5 sessions, it was getting worse. And he said, you need to get an MRI. So he said, I think you have a herniated disc. Well, the MRI didn't show a herniated disc. It showed a mass in my chest. And I was just dumbfounded. I was so freaked out that I had this growth inside of me. I had a biopsy, and they said they didn't see any cancer cells, and they called it a schwannoma tumor, a nerve root tumor. It was very painful. It was running down, I was pressing on the nerves that actually ran down my arm, and my first 3 fingers were getting numb. And I just was like, how could this happen to me? I really thought I was leading a healthy lifestyle. I ate well, I exercised, I watched my weight, I didn't smoke. I even had a meditation practice. I pulled people into my office every day at 4 o'clock, and we'd meditate for 20 minutes. And I just really thought I was doing everything right. And it just came as a shock. And so I had gone to a place called the Optimal Health Institute down in San Diego. I had coincidentally booked a week there just for some R&R. This was before the tumor diagnosis. And so as luck would have it, it was like the perfect place for me to heal. And what they had was wheatgrass juicing and basically raw green drinks, and organic, of course. And I meditated, and we did colonics, so internal cleansing. And I noticed that in like 3 or 4 days that the pain started to reduce just a hair, enough for me that I didn't need a sleeping pill to go to sleep, because I couldn't find a comfortable position to sleep. It was so painful. So I thought, well, this is interesting, and the pain started going away. And I remember, well, what I didn't share first was that I had gone to 3 top Bay Area surgeons, and they all said, I needed surgery to remove it. So one wanted to cut me under my collarbone, the second one under my armpit, and the third one said, no, we're going to remove one of your ribs from the back and replace it with mesh to access this tumor. So what I did at the Institute there was realize that changing and simplifying my diet had a huge impact initially. And so I came home after a week and decided I would continue to be on a simple raw food diet. I bought a Vitamix and I bought a dehydrator, and just everything was raw, and I was starting to feel better. And then I said, well, what else can I simplify? And I was putting on some moisturizer on my skin, and I looked at the label, and it had like a paragraph worth of ingredients on there that I couldn't pronounce. So my background as a journalist, I started researching, and I realized, well, these are endocrine disruptors. These are toxic chemicals that are going into our bodies and, impacting my liver, for example. And so I switched out to all natural products. In fact, baking soda, white vinegar, hydrogen peroxide to clean with. I use baking soda to this day as a deodorant. I just put some in a salt shaker and sprinkle it on my hand and go like this, and it's good for the day. So, and then I thought, well, what else can I simplify? And I remember I was cleaning with Windex, and I just turned the bottle around and I looked at the back label, and it said, precautionary statement, hazardous to humans and domestic animals. And I thought, well, geez, this isn't good. So switched out to all natural products and continued to do this inner cleansing and meditating. And, it took about 6 months. The pain, it was right around my 50th birthday, I remember, pain disappeared. And I thought, well, wow, I was so almost holding my breath, and then I went a few months later to have another scan done, and the tumor had disappeared. It was gone. So this was a huge wake-up call for me that our bodies are self-healing if we just get out of the way of, bombarding it with all of the toxins in our everyday products. And so I wound up writing this book. I just want to share my screen. I'll just show you. Here we go. So Supernatural Home, and then it was translated into Spanish, La Casa Natural. So I'm really happy about that. And so what I wanted to talk to you about today, well, is stem cells, because ever since the healing that I had, this was like 19 years ago now, I've always been on the lookout for what's natural, healthy, non-invasive, and cost-effective kind of thing to heal our bodies. So I discovered stem cells. I started researching them. So for those of you who don't know what a stem cell is, they're our superhero cells. They have unlimited potential, and they're waiting inside our bodies to heal us. Adult stem cells exist throughout our entire body from the time we were embryos, and they continue to be made throughout our life. Our body uses them to repair and renew damaged cells, and they generate and regenerate all the cells and structures inside of us. So they're the building blocks really for organs, tissues, blood, the immune system. But as we age, our stem cells become less effective, and their ability to repair damaged tissue is also reduced. So remember when you were a kid, you skinned your knee, whatever, you heal or cut. As we age, like, our recovery is slower, especially after we exercise. So I had noticed, over the years that after I'd exercise, I'd be stiff and pain, Charlie horse the next day. I never had that as a kid. Again, wounds take longer to heal. And by age 35, we've lost, they say, almost half of our stem cell activity. And by age 60, we lose most of it. So again, the less stem cell activity you have, the faster you age and the slower you heal. So aging equals not regenerating our cells as fast as we used to. So that became really clear to me. And so I started looking at, well, if we want to have the same healing power that our stem cells had in our youth, then we need to stimulate their production and activate them. So I just want to say that aside from aging, we also lose stem cell activity due to illness and exposure to electronics in our lives. So I know that so many of us, are on our phones, on our screens, EMFs and the blue light coming from our light bulbs and the computer and phone screens. So I just want to talk a little bit about blue light, because the sun has both blue and red light frequencies. But when the electric light bulb was invented, and now the LED lights and the fluorescent lights, they remove the red from the light to make it cooler. So what's happened is we're looking at mostly blue light. So blue light is linked to problems like blurry vision, eye strain, dry eyes, macular degeneration, cataracts, and sleep issues. I know a lot of people who have trouble sleeping. You know, they're on their phones or their tablets right before bed, or they're reading on their Kindles, and so something to be aware of. And so solutions, so blue light blockers. So I have these glasses. These are great. So they're tinted a slight amber, so it cuts some of that blue. It adds some of the red back in. I suggest you turn your Wi-Fi off at night at the very least. I've installed Ethernet cables, so I don't have any Wi-Fi, so my Wi-Fi is off altogether. And then turn off your cellular data on your smartphone. I go into people's homes and help mitigate, you know, and reduce their electromagnetic field radiation, and the phone is huge. So when you have your cellular data on, let's see, I can show you. If you go to settings and then you go, if you look at cellular, and then you click on cellular, and then you see right now it's on, and then you turn it off. That lowers the field dramatically. So that one tip alone, you know, I think will really help. It'll help a lot in terms of your body's functioning. Get out in nature as much as you can. I remember one of my teachers had said, you know, Angeles Arian, she talked about getting out for an hour in nature a day. And this is when I was working at the Learning Annex, and I thought, you know, I can't do it working full time. Well, now we're all working from home, so it'd be so awesome to get out and just get out for a walk. Getting more sunlight into our eyes, on our skin. One of the things that I love to do is, you know, I don't wear sunglasses anymore because I like to get sunlight in my eyes and stimulate my melatonin, so that at night when I go to sleep, I sleep really well. So another solution is to increase your body's stem cell production naturally. So I've come up with 5 ways to boost your own stem cells. Number 1 is intermittent fasting. So even an occasional short-term fast. So what I do is I don't eat from 7 p.m. until 11 a.m. So it's not really hard for me. I don't know. I've never really woken up starving, hungry. And I know people say breakfast is the most important meal, but this seems to work really well for me. So our body makes up for the lack of glucose during that fast by turning to our fatty acids for fuel. So this fatty acid is called oxidation. It boosts your intestinal stem cell function, and it also has a positive effect on your immune system. Eating organ meats. Now I used to be vegan, okay, but now I'm not, and I've incorporated organ meats into my diet. So they're rich in vitamin K2. And this K2 is shown to activate stem cells in your blood and bone marrow. So a great one to eat is bones. Bone broth is fantastic. It's got collagen in it. It's got B12, and it's rich in natural stem cell activators and grass-fed liver. So I'm having a hard time with the beef liver, but I do eat chicken livers. And goose apparently tops the list for must-have stem cell boosting foods. And then the 5th way to boost your own is this new technology that I have discovered. They're these stem cell activating patches, and they're based on light frequencies. So adding light into your life. So light and invisible energies vibrate at certain frequencies, and these light frequencies are central to how we heal ourselves. And your body uses these frequencies to repair and renew damaged cells. So Qigong masters have known about these frequencies for thousands of years. I practice Qigong. It's really a fantastic thing to incorporate into your life if you haven't tried it. So these energies, they say they can literally change the physical makeup of your cells. So we are light beings, right? Our cells emit light and electrical currents. So think about, getting an EKG or an EEG. It's measuring that electrical activity in our cells. So, when I say we're light beings, it's not really woo-woo. We really are. So stem cell activity. So old school approach to getting new stem cells is to get traditional stem cell injections. So they can be super expensive and painful and invasive, and they can be filled with either cells that are harvested from your own blood or from embryos, and sometimes from plants. But we don't know if you're not getting it from your own stem cells, we don't know what's really in there. And the ones from our own, if you're harvesting it from your own blood, if you're over 60 and you've got like hardly any stem cells anyway, it's really not the best. That, the amount of stem cells you're going to be getting back into your body is going to be pretty low. So there's this new approach that I discovered. It's based on a recent major scientific breakthrough in this technology. And it's a company called LifeWave. And it's a patch. It's a wearable patch. It looks like a Band-Aid. And it activates your body's own stem cells with light. And the process is known as photobiomodulation. It's a patented phototherapy process. So what it does is it actually redirects the light our bodies produce, and it targets this copper peptide inside us. So it's called GHK copper peptide, and it's known to activate stem cells. So if you Google GHK copper peptide, you're going to get like study after study after study of the amazing thing that this peptide does to increase collagen and boost our stem cells. What I love about it, it's inexpensive. I mean, it costs less than a cup of coffee a day. So that's good. And people are experiencing pain relief, better sleep, improved energy, their hair, their skin. I mean, my skin, I used to have like a brown spot here that disappeared, improved mental clarity, improved sports performance. So I'll just share, people with MS, chronic fatigue, athletes are using it. So I just want to sort of reiterate, the reason I'm sharing this is because I'm always on the lookout for a healing tool so that you can avoid to rely on pharmaceutical drugs or to have risky surgery. Most people, are in pain, they want drugs, and they're looking for a quick fix. So this could take a little bit of time, but I just want to share with you my leg. I hope you can see this picture. So I was kicked in the leg when I was a teenager playing soccer and never really healed. And by the time I was sort of in my 50s, I had all this, right here, you can see this purple, I mean, can you see both pictures? Is that clear? So, because this is the one on the right is 3 months of wearing this X39 patch, and I wore it on the back of my neck, not even on my leg. So I couldn't believe how healing could be this easy, because I had been to all these doctors and they were giving me saline injections and other kinds of injections, and it was getting worse and worse and worse, and my ankle was swollen. And I said, what should I do? They said, well, wear support hose and cut salt out of your diet. It was just, the doctors didn't know. And finally I went to one vascular surgeon who said they wanted to do surgery on me, that they were going to go in through my femoral artery and kill one of the veins that went down to my ankle. And then I spoke to a friend who's a doctor, and they said, you can be in pain the rest of your life. I don't recommend it. So when I discovered this patch, it's just been life-changing for me. And this is my friend Gail. She had skin cancer surgery, and her it went awry. It's a hard picture to look at, but she had this open wound, and the doctor said, Gail, your face is going to take a year to heal. And I said to her, why don't you try these patches? And so in 21 days, the wound closed up, and now, her face is, you can't even see it after 6 months. You can't see even a trace of a scar. And this is this young girl. She's 11 years old. She had atopic eczema since she was 8 months old, and she was on the X39 patch. And this is after 3 months. Her hands have, the mother was just sort of in tears when she sent these photographs that her daughter had suffered so long. And this is a boy, a young man. He had a snowboarding accident, and he had deep scrapes all over his face. And within 5 days, his face had healed. Now, again, he's young, and as I said, when you're younger, you have more stem cells. So, but this is pretty remarkable that that much improvement in such a short amount of time. So it works. This patch works like when you're in the sun and the sunlight hits your body and it signals your body to up your vitamin D production. So the patch works from the heat of your body. And as I said, our bodies emit light. So this light is reflected off of the patch back into the body. And the only thing that's in the patch are these crystals of light. So, and that signals the production of this copper peptide. And it resets, the studies have shown it resets 4,000 genes to a younger state. So I just feel, I've been on it since May, and it's been fantastic for me. I mean, I just feel stronger, and I know I look younger, and my skin is better, and I'm sleeping deeper. So I just can't speak more highly about it.
Hey Beth, Rowena had a question about varicose veins. Does it work for varicose veins?
My varicose veins are shrinking. They haven't disappeared completely. The patches go where they're needed first. So when I first started it, I was noticing, do I notice anything? I wasn't sleeping any differently. I wasn't noticing any real changes. And then a month in, I looked at my leg and said, wow, this is different. So it's gone from there to now. I know that it's working on a deep level inside. So yeah. So the company itself, it's a research and development company. And after 10 years of research and testing, they have created these patches, and they're, I can share with you, there's the science behind it, the patents they have like a 20-year patent on it. So anyway, a lot of people miss out on life's special moments because of physical pain or chronic illness. And I just want to share that a close friend of mine who has multiple sclerosis, she's on the patch, and her neuropathy is going away. She can feel her toes again. It's just remarkable. She says, Beth, I wake up every morning and I play with my toes like a kid because I just can't believe I can feel them. And another friend who has Parkinson's disease told me that she's now walking down the stairs without holding onto the handrail. Her balance is so much better. And I just got a text the other day from a woman who, she said her psoriasis, since she's had since her late 20s, is completely gone. She's just ecstatic. So anyway, I just wanted to offer you, you can download a free ebook that I wrote, which explains all this in more detail. If you go to truevitalityproject.com, you can access the book, and I'm available to answer questions.
Well, thank you, Beth. It was an excellent presentation.